This is how you remind me of what
Well,
I really am.
Before we recorded today, we were singing Nickelback for some reason. I don't know.
It's a must.
Yeah, it just hit randomly, and here we are now singing it. So, but
Yeah.
welcome to another episode. Did you see the whole thing with Derek Lunsford's Synthol usage?
No, I didn't.
So if you look up his front double at the Olympia.
Oh, wait. It's in his lat, right?
Yeah.
His lat? Yeah. Okay. It's like a little ball.
Yeah, a lot of controversial topics around that right now. A lot of people talking about it. At first, I didn't think it was Synthol. I thought it was maybe some sort of like inflamed lymph nodes or something like that. The more I was reading people's thoughts on it and watching videos and stuff, the more I was like, you know what, it probably really actually is Synthol. Synthol is very heavily used among Olympia competitors. Hadi Chupin is actually one of them. He used a lot of it in his delts. So I don't know if he used it or not. I mean, as far as like Hadi Chupin's usage, I think it's just been speculation. Let me look up where that started.
So my thing with the Synthol conversation is like, I feel like it is something that you can utilize in the right perspective, but if you over abuse it, like for example, we've mentioned him in the past, but that Russian kid who just has a dorky looking biceps, like that's obviously an overusage. So I feel like if you're using it to, build out a little area, I could see that. Like in, small amounts, not enough to make the muscle actually dependent on the Synthol, but like just some kind of supplementation towards a bigger product. But, if it's obvious, like, I mean, the Lunsford balls in his lats, like I feel like that's a little bit too much.
Yeah. So the reason I didn't think it was Synthol for Derek at first was because it's such a weird spot. Like he doesn't really gain anything from putting Synthol there. Like he already has the thickness in his back. He has the width. What does he gain from putting extra size in his lats from his front delt side? Like that's like underneath his lats essentially. It's just a weird place to put it. So that's why I didn't really believe it at first, because I'm like, what does he really gain from having Synthol here? Like having this like enhanced, feature. But people just keep saying that it's Synthol. A lot of Olympia competitors use it. It's not, anything new, which is true. It's not anything new. Hadi Chupin has been accused of it multiple times for using it in his medial delts, his side delts, because there's been photos over the years where his delts look very sharp and angled in a weird way, which only Synthol would give that look. And my thing is, Synthol, so like obviously with steroid use, you get an unnatural look, right? You get this enhanced unnatural look. So the way that natural competitors and people who stick by being natural look at steroid users is kind of the way that I look at Synthol users, where it's like, at least with steroids, like you have to put in even more effort because you're using them. You have to take more everything into account, what you're eating, how you're training, everything's taken into account to actually maximize the effects. And at the same time, you're going to be dealing with side effects. Like there's a give and take there, right? With Synthol, there's literally no effort. You literally inject it and just let it sit. That's it. That's all you do. You don't have to do anything different. And at the same time, you get super, super round muscle bellies that don't look natural, and you didn't do anything for them. So like, that's why I don't have much respect for anybody who uses Synthol. If there are instances where, like you said, you have an extremely weak area that just looks all fucked up, and use a little bit of Synthol and it just makes it it kind of brings it together, that's a little more understandable. Some people tear muscles, stuff like that.
Well, so that was what I was going to say. I was going to say, think of Tom Platz's Olympia, where he went in, he tore the bicep 2 weeks prior to the Olympia. Obviously, I don't think this was the 80s or early 90s, so I really don't think Synthol was as, commonly known as it is now. But that would be one example where I see an actual decent usage of it, because I mean, there was the whole, I don't know how much you know about that particular Olympia, but there was the whole controversy over how it got discovered, because Tom Platz was very, very secretive about it, and he told one person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who that one person was?
Michael Hearn?
No, he told Arnold, and Arnold told the judges. Okay. And so then they basically were like, Platz, can you come forward? Can you show us your left front bicep? And Platz is like, bro, come on. So yeah, in that situation, I can see, like, and not using it like afterwards, but just using it for that one performance to give yourself the look, and then go into recovery and, you know, get your muscle back to where it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I know Hassan Mustafa, I think, tore his tricep right before the Olympia this year. He ended up showing up and he looked fine. It didn't look too bad. He didn't place that high. He's never really placed that high. But I mean, I can understand that aspect where it's like, not even necessarily just prepping for a show. It's just like, some people I know just have like one bad muscle. Like, let's say like if you're talking about like a glute or something like that, like you have like one fucked up muscle, the other side's fine. Like if you use a tablet of Synthol and it just brings it together, just makes it look normal, then I can understand that. But then it's when you use it and it just looks fucking weird. Like Hadi's, if you look it up, supposedly he's gotten a few accusations of Hadi Chupin gotten accusations of Synthol use. One of his previous managers prior to the 2022 Olympia said that he used it in his delts, and there are plenty of photos out there that would point evidence towards the fact that he does. His delts look very angled, very unnatural, very weird looking. There's one where he does like a relaxed pose. And I don't know when that photo was taken. There's an article about it.
I'm looking at it right now. It's like he's got, like, I would almost say like a bone jutting out of his shoulders. Yeah. That's how sharp it is.
Yeah, and the other side's rounded. The other side doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
So like that's where I find a problem with Synthol is you'll fuck up your system, you mess up your muscles, and it just looks weird. And then you don't have to put any effort in order to get to that point. So Derek's, it's like, yes, he could have used that Synthol, but really at the end of the day, it wasn't in an area that was going to win him the Olympia. Excuse me. A lot of people, myself included, I didn't even notice it till after the Olympia. Like it was like Monday or Tuesday after, and I got sent the photo of the people pointing it out, and I was like, wow, I didn't notice that until I see it now. But now I can't unsee it.
Well, so here's the thing. Did we look at it from the video, or was it just a picture? Because if I don't notice it in the video, then I'm willing to claim doctored on it.
It's not doctored. It's not photoshopped or anything like that. It's been posted many, even on Derek's Instagram, you can see it. His Olympia post where he won, you could see the round bumps. Here, I'll send it to you.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Yeah, so you can see it even on his Instagram. So it's not photoshopped, like to like make him look bad. He does have a muscle there. If you look at like he did a transformation post, or someone did, from like 2015 to now, or something like that, and you can see that he does actually have like a, I guess, like separate muscle there. I don't really know what to call it. Like I wouldn't say like a striated muscle, but like in the previous post, or like in the previous photo, I mean, you could see an extra like vertical muscle that's right where that ball is. So he just injected Synthol into that one little muscle head. I'm not even sure what to call it, but it might have been one of his tears, maybe, is my guess. But yeah, so he just injected that. So I mean, like I said, it didn't win him the Olympia, so I'm not really like that upset about it. Even True. Like there's a photo where he has like one arm raised like this, and you could really fucking see it in that when he posted after the Olympia. But yeah.
And I mean, that's like, I mean, you make a great point there. Like, it's not like he's supplementing his arms to be enormous, like, and chiseled and everything. It's in like a very weird spot. It's obviously for some function or just to finish rounding out a look, like not when his arms are raised, but maybe like when he's doing like his front lat spread and his arms are kind of covering that area, and it's just giving him a little bit more depth. Like maybe, but yeah, like you said, it didn't win him the Olympia, so it's not something that I think we really need to care too
Yeah.
much about. You know, like if it was like, for example, Hadi's shoulders. Like let's say in the judging book, the Hadi shoulders won. Like that was the part that won, and then we see these pictures. That would be a different story. But like you said, such an obscure little spot. Like
Yeah.
I'm not too worried.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I'm not really that upset about it, and I'm not surprised either. Something that is kind of funny to me is that top two of the Olympia were both Honey Rambod clients. Same with Classic Olympia, which is funny. Not Men's Physique. I don't think Ryan works with Honey, but the top two at the top, Men's Open, and then also Chris Bumstead all work with Honey.
He's the man.
Also, I don't think you saw, I didn't post about it, but Chula Wear board shorts. So Team Chula Fitness, they just came out with a new board short. Let me
5-inch inseam.
Fucking I hope there's a version of it with it. Let me see. You'll think this is cool. I gotta buy these. I'm gonna message it to you, and then we'll talk about it.
Bet.
Let me see. It's fucking Mac sucks. I hate copying and pasting on Mac. Come on. There we go. All right. Boom. Read the title of that.
Unchained pre-order.
Yeah. So Team I'm on has a official board short with Chula Wear.
Which means you now have to wear it.
Yeah, probably. I don't think I'll have to, but it's pretty sick that they came out with that. And I actually like the design too. I actually like it.
I mean, they look comfortable enough to just wear out in general. I mean, I know that's the whole point of Men's Physique. Like what you look like is what you would look like on the beach.
Yeah.
But those actually look like decent enough that I don't know. I always stay away from super baggy board shorts, but that's why, I mean, you and I both love high inseam kind of tight fitting shorts. So
yeah,
I could definitely wear those around town.
Yeah, I think they're cool. There's a bunch that they got that are pretty dope, but maybe those will be my next pair or something.
Hell yeah.
We'll see.
I just can't pay that price tag.
Yeah, it's for what it is. I mean, it is what it is. It is expensive, but you just got to have them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's again, Men's Physique and IFBB is starting to crack down on the way board shorts fit. So got to put more emphasis on it. The NPC board shorts that they use like as example board shorts are too baggy. So they've got to start changing stuff around. And
now do Classic Physique and Open, you bring your own Speedo thong thing?
Yeah.
You don't go, hi, I need a size 10.
I don't even know where, like, yeah, no, you don't. There's nothing like that. But you can buy Classic Physique shorts from Chula Wear as well. They make Classic Physique shorts.
Yeah, you can get them. You can get them from Amazon too.
Yeah, I mean, it all just depends on where you want to get them from. But
Men's Open, you're buying in the women's lingerie section.
Basically, yeah. They have bodybuilding trunks. Like Chula Wear has something for everybody. You know, like all the divisions for men's, they'll have something for you. A lot of women's stuff is actually a lot of them get custom made shit where like they get it rhinestone and bedazzled and shit, like in a way that they want it to be done. You could buy women's stuff from Chula Wear as well, I believe. I could be wrong. Yeah, maybe not actually. I mean, there is like swimwear, I guess. You could buy women's. You buy socks from them, I guess. I don't know. They don't really have anything posing wise, but there are Plenty of
What won you the Olympia? I was wearing a new pair of socks.
True Wear socks. They gave me extra gains plus 2 gains.
You guys couldn't even tell, but their skin color, like they're the same as my skin color. I made my calves look bigger. They're knee-high socks.
Yeah, they're thigh highs with bigger calves. They're skin tight.
There's a pillow stuffed in there.
Oh God, that'd be too much. There is something I saw recently. Oh, what was it? Well, there's a comedian that was talking about having sex with a female bodybuilder, and he said he couldn't even tell if it was a woman at first. He's like, I had to check her Instagram for a second to make sure she was a woman, and he's like, she was indeed originally a woman. And he goes, when I was having sex with her, he's like, we're about like 30 seconds in, and she thought I was trying to choke her like as part of sex, but really I was just feeling for her Adam's apple. And I was like, damn, dude. And he's like, because 30 seconds in, you could pull out and still be straight, that ain't gay yet. He's like, but a minute in, you're gay as hell, bro. It was funny. I was cracking up at that.
That sounds like something Theo Von would say.
It sounds like it. Yeah, it could be. But yeah, it was funny. And there's some female bodybuilders out there that are more masculine than men out there. So
complete side tangent, but if you haven't seen Shane Gillis's new special, go fucking watch it. It's so good. It's called Shane like Blue Dog or something like that. But unbelievable. He's
top notch S tier comedian. He's so good. It's the way he says shit. Like it's what he says, but it's also the way he says it. And his impersonations, like when he's talking about how Trump can't get in Biden's head
because Biden's not even in there.
Yeah, he's like, Biden's not even in there, dude. And he's like talking shit to him, and Biden, he like turns and says Biden's what? He's like, what? And it's like the way he said it was like so perfect. I started cracking up. I'm like, how do you just nail Biden's what? Like, I didn't even know it was a thing until you did it.
Yeah.
His original special too is really, really good. He's talking about Trump's way to debate, and he's like, Rand Paul is gay, and they're like, oh, you can just like do that. I didn't know you could just like do that. Is this like your thing now? Like you just like do that? I was cracking up at that. It's the way he says it. It's like your thing. You guys like do that now?
He's got great timing. That's really what it comes down.
Oh yeah. His comedic timing is absurd. And his funniest bit on Joe Rogan that went so viral. I was so happy to listen to it when it was a new episode. So it was a brand new episode, and Joe Rogan said that he was talking about how he likes some like muscular women a little bit. And then he was saying that he doesn't mind if they're, if they have hair or not. He's like, it's, they could wear a wig or whatever. And then he also said, if she has a little armpit hair, it's fine. It's no big deal. And he goes, dude, like bald, like armpit hair, muscular, you're getting close, dude. And Joe Rogan's like crying, laughing. And I was like, I listened to that originally on the episode, and I was cracking up. And then it went viral because he's like, dude, you're getting real close. And like it went on like YouTube Shorts and shit. Like it went everywhere. It was so good. He's so fucking on it. It's so good. But yeah, great comedian.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so with that being said, something that started last weekend, which I could have theoretically talked about last weekend, but last weekend was the Olympia, is my new PCT plan.
Paul, you need to prioritize your PCT over the results of the Olympia. God, have your priorities.
No, wrong. Whether or not C-Bum win is prioritized.
C-Bum win, everything. Paul new PCT, which is the headline.
It's all about C-Bum. Everything is C-Bum. It's like that, like Earth, that meme with the astronauts in the Earth. It's like it's all C-Bum. It always was. It's like that shit. Mm-hmm. It's always C-Bum. But yeah, so new PCT started. I'm on day 6 now, so it should change up after today a little bit.
It looked like a pretty hefty PCT cycle. You posted it, and it was like 6 different compounds.
Yeah, it looks like it. It's really not, because I'm not really using much of anything. Like it's not a lot of each thing. So
yeah,
which I'll go over. So after days 1 through 6, my HCG and HMG will most likely change. We will see. But overall, right now I'm taking essentially 4 things. No longer aromasin. I'm not taking aromasin anymore. So it was 5 that I posted. Aromatase I've been taking for a long time. It just helps with the estrogen suppression. I don't need to take that anymore. So that's out now. But I'm taking HCG, HMG, Clomid, and raloxifene. So each thing has its own usage. HCG and Clomid are kind of in my system to get my androgynous hormone production back in order, essentially. So I'm off testosterone entirely. So I'm taking HCG and Clomid. So Clomid is essentially like, let me make sure I say the right wording. So Clomid is used for infertility in women. So essentially what it does, from my understanding, is it essentially shuts down your estrogen in a way. It lowers your estrogen. So let me see. Yeah, there's all these side effects and whatnot, but that's WebMD for you.
Yeah. WebMD will tell you that the stick you picked up outside is going to give you skin cancer.
Yeah, you're just dying. You're dead.
Yeah.
So it's all about ovulation. As far as clomiphene, which is the official name, then common brand names is Clomid or Seraphine. So it depends on what you call it. I call it Clomid, but really the actual name is clomiphene. So essentially, it helps women's bodies by producing an egg. Like it helps you produce eggs. The way it works for men in bodybuilding is essentially it lowers your estrogen, so that way, you're getting the benefits of lack of estrogen in certain aspects, and then with the half life of it, it's a longer half life. So eventually, your estrogen goes back up, and you get the benefits of higher estrogen, and then you take it again, and it goes back down, goes back up, goes back down, goes back up. We were going to take clomiphene that has a shorter half-life, and which most clinics actually prefer now at this point, so when you lower your estrogen, essentially your testosterone is going to kind of bounce back in the opposite direction. So in clomiphene right now is a supplement that a lot of like natural guys take, and they say, oh, it doubles my testosterone and stuff like that. But really it just kind of shuts down your estrogen, which then increases your testosterone. It doesn't directly increase it. Really what it does is it alters your FSH and LH levels so that you essentially get, from my understanding, you get more free testosterone. So we were going to use clomiphene because it's a shorter half-life. So you get essentially the benefits of lower estrogen and higher estrogen at the same time, because you get the lower aspect and then sooner it goes back up. And then you get the benefits there, and then sooner it goes back down. So it goes up and down faster, which a lot of PCT clinics prefer. So we were going to use that. I never ended up getting it. So I think it was either out of stock and I never ordered it because it was out of stock, or I never got it.
I thought I saw in the picture that you had Clomid.
I had Clomid. Yeah, I'm talking about clomiphene. And clomiphene was the original plan. Yeah, I should have clarified that. So, and clomiphene was the original plan, and I never got that in the mail. I don't know if it was because it was out of stock when I went to order it, or if I ordered it and then it went out of stock. I'm not sure what happened, but long story short, I never got it. So we swapped to Clomid, which I already had. I've had Clomid for a long time. I just have had it on hand for a while. So started using that. Then we're using raloxifene. Raloxifene is going to help with really ultimately just like my gyno, because that's really my only side effect is with my estrogen production. It's just gyno. I don't really get much else. I don't really get much acne. Obviously hair loss is just genetic. So anything I take that has some sort of DHT in it, or it's a DHT derivative, is going to affect my hair loss. But outside that, my estrogen wise, that's really the only side effect I get is gyno. So raloxifene is going to help with that. At least for my coach, he says that it's what he's found has helped the best for overall athletes in general. In the past, I've taken cabergoline to help fight that because my prolactin levels were high. So we're just going to try raloxifene for now to see if that can help it, because cabergoline is a lot harsher on the body than raloxifene is. And caber as well is something that you shouldn't take for a long period of time because it's harsh on the body. There are other alternatives out there for prolactin levels to take that are more on the, not nearly as harsh, but not nearly as effective side. So to cycle off caber at some point, like essentially if I wanted to just cycle off caber, give my body a rest from it, I could cycle off 4 or 6 weeks or whatever, take a lighter supplement, achieve something similar, and then get back on Clomid. Not Clomid, sorry, Caber. But I pulled out Caber after my show in August. Gyno became kind of an issue. And then now that we're doing PCT, it's not as bad of an issue. It wasn't really ever super, super bad in the first place. It just was kind of inflamed a little bit. It was a little noticeable if you looked for it. And it was like a bruise, you know? It's sore. So, excuse me. God, I fucking hate yawning whenever we do this.
Gotta have your coffee, man.
Record. No, it's not even just that. It's every time we record, I just yawn. I don't know why. So that was something we pulled out. So I'm on Raloxifene now to help with the gyno issues that I have. Again, it's not too bad. It's just sore, really, at the end of the day. A little puffy, but that's about it. Caber did basically make it go away. It's almost like I never had gyno in the first place, which was awesome. I loved prep because I was losing a ton of fat. My vascularity was becoming more prominent. I was making daily changes, and at the same time, my gyno was also non-existent. Like, it literally wasn't like, no matter how hard I flexed, no matter what way I posed, there was no sign I ever had gyno. So we know that Caber at least works for me when it's a prolactin issue, and it fixed basically immediately when I started taking Caber. So we know at least that's a solution for the future, especially when we get onto a push phase. Hopefully around Christmas time we'll do that, or sooner is what I'm hoping to. So we'll when we get into a push phase and start taking potentially more testosterone and anything else along with it, Caber, I'll probably just put Caber right back in, just because it worked for me. So with that being said, we also have HCG and HMG. So HMG is entirely for fertility in men. Not, at least for me, not really actually used for fertility in men, but HMG is going to increase your fertility like a motherfucker. Your FSH and LH levels are going to go right back to normal or even higher, really, and your sperm count's going to jump through the roof. So that's for the reason we're taking HMG. And then we're also taking HCG, which is human chorionic gonadotropin. Essentially, what HCG is going to do, like I said, is help with producing my androgynous hormones again. So we're taking all of that, which sounds like a lot. So let me break it down. So basically, I'm taking 16 to 1700 IUs of HCG every 3 days, which is like about 5,000 a week. A little, just about 5,000 every. So like in these 6 days, I'll be hitting 5,000, which is the goal. Because it's day 1, day 4, and then day 6 or whatever it was. It was Sunday, Wednesday, and then today is essentially like the days that I pin that. So get the 5,000 out of that. And then I'm taking 25 IUs every 3 days of HMG, which I'll go through a bottle in the same amount of time. So there's 2 little tiny bottles that you saw in that photo. Little tiny vials was HCG and HMG. All of this you can buy online. Amino Asylum is where you get certain things.
Whoa, don't plug on the spot like that, bro.
I say it because it's for research purposes. These are not
researchers.
Human consumption. I do not take any of this. This is all just something that I'm saying is being pinned.
You can admit that if you take it, not saying you do, but you're allowed to say that you are just for research purposes.
Yes. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, they say you're supposed to. The thing with like SARM stuff like that you buy online is that you're supposed to say you're using it for research on other animals. Is the gray area, but let's say for research purposes of myself.
I'm putting this shit in my cat.
Yeah, straight in my dog's ass, dude. Straight in the ass. Their tail is getting fucking huge. So with the HCG, HMG, it's tiny pins, insulin syringe, using it in my delts, so it's not a big deal. Don't even really feel it too much. And we also use backwater instead of something like MCT oil or something like that. So it's super easy to pin. Like, because with the oils that supplements are suspended in, it's harder to push through an insulin pin because this insulin pin is so fucking tiny.
Mm-hmm.
it's like trying to squeeze maple syrup through like a pen. You know, it's like fucking, it'd be a bitch because it's so thick. So with the insulin syringe that's so tiny, using BAC water, it's so much easier to inject it. It just goes right in a split second because it's so thin. BAC water is so thin, so it's nice. And then we take the Aromasin, the Raloxifene, and the Clomid all oral. So the Raloxifene and the Aromasin were both liquids. You can get pill versions of both. I happen to have liquids. So essentially do 0.5 milliliter of Aromasin, 2 milliliters of Raloxifene. I just pour that in a glass of water with this, basically this like plunger that they gave me with it. Measure it out, shoot in some water, put Clomid in my mouth, which is just half a pill because we're only taking 25 milligrams of Clomid. And the pill itself is 50 milligrams. Take half that and just drink it. That's it. Tastes like shit. Tastes like absolute shit.
Yep.
You know what that's like?
That's how the SARMs are. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just sharp. It's almost like rubbing alcohol or something that they put it in. I'm not even sure what it is, but it tastes fucking terrible. So I just try to drink it down. Usually have something else to like chase it with, whether that's like a soda or a coffee or something like that, just so that I'm not really tasting it.
I challenge myself. I try and keep it in my mouth for as long as I can.
I just drink the whole bottle and swish it around my mouth.
You know, I get real worried whenever like someone comes over to my house and goes to my bathroom and is like knows that I'm, you know, what I do in regards to, you know, supplementation, and they're like, this must be it. Down the hatch. It just takes like 50 milliliters.
Whoa. You're gonna die. Let's go to
the hospital and get your stomach pumped.
Literally, like no, that's a problem. That's not a good thing. There's a video. This chick drank a whole bottle of magnesium citrate to go poop because she was, I don't know if she was pregnant or something. Something happened and she hadn't pooped in like almost a week. So she just drank a whole bottle and somebody's like, nobody going to tell her that you're not supposed to drink the whole bottle. And she ended up like destroying her toilet. I mean, it's no big deal. It just, you know, it just is a really strong laxative, but with something like that, you know, SARMs or whatever, it could be dangerous to just it orally like that, all of it. But Raloxifene and Aromasin basically just shut down my estrogen and I could feel it. It feels weird. It's like you don't realize how much your body needs estrogen until you don't have it. And it really does feel weird to have it like basically shut down, which is on purpose, is to see if the gyno is going to go away. And it's only going to be like this for like a week. So it's not going to be a big deal. But it is interesting to at least experience that. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with it after today. So we got Clomid until he basically tells me no more. Raloxifene, I'm going to do 10 days of 60 milligrams, which is 2 milliliters, and then 10 days of 30 milliliters. So you just said 10 days of 60 and then 10 days of 60 and then do 30 until I run out, which is going to be another 10 days. So it's 30 milliliters. So in the first 10 days, I'll use 20 milliliters. The next 10 days, I'll use 10. So that's the 30 right there. So it's just going to take me 20 days to chew through the Raloxifene. And then HGG and HMG, if we're going at the same pace, I'll be pretty much done like just after next weekend. So it'd be just about 2 weeks on HCG and HMG. That'll be pulled out. And then Aromasin is already done. So really at the end of the next weekend, it's all going to be theoretically Raloxifene and Clomid. And probably at that point, we'll probably pull Clomid and just keep Raloxifene is my guess. And then that'll be my PCT. So basically the gist of this PCT, we weren't originally actually going to run this. And the reason that changed, so originally we were just going to do, I believe, a TRT cruise and potentially something like just like ACG and Clomid or something just to kind of clean out my system, I believe. I could be wrong there. It's just from context clues. That's what it sounded like. We're going to do like a minor PCT while running a cruise. Not to get my testosterone and estrogen back to where they're supposed to be, but to kind of clear out the rest of my system, get my FSH and LH levels back, obviously get my lipids under control, stuff like that. Make sure they're under control at least, because, we're taking stuff that my body's not used to during my prep. Something like Clen is very, very harsh on your body. Tren is very harsh on your body. T324, which I was taking, is very harsh on your body. Granted, T324 you don't need to do a PCT with. It's your thyroid's on a feedback loop, so you just taper off over a couple of weeks and you're good to go. Stuff like that. So because I was taking that stuff, I think we were going to go in the direction of just like a basic PCT to make sure I'm good to go, and then just cruise and then get back into a push phase. But what changed is that my wife and I have decided to start trying for a baby.
Hell yeah.
So we started like middle of October, a few weeks ago. And so this PCT is entirely focused on fertility, because when you're taking testosterone, it shuts down your pituitary gland, and your sperm production is fucking in the toilet. It's like every time I think of shutting down your pituitary gland, I think of that scene from Ted where Flash Gordon's like, I have a sperm count of 1. He's having his own I Am Legend in there. Like, that's what I think of every single time. Like when you take testosterone, you shut down your pituitary gland, so you have like a little I Am Legend going on in your nutsack, in your prostate. And
well, that means there's a dog, so a 1.5.
yeah, kind of. It's like I don't know, Walking Dead or something. It's just a bunch of dead sperm cells and like some alive ones. So it's very low sperm count because of, shutting down your pituitary gland. And that's the thing a lot of guys don't talk about, and a lot of clinics don't mention before getting on something like TRT, is that when your body starts relying on an artificial source of testosterone, it'll automatically shut down your pituitary gland and make it much harder to give birth or to get pregnant and have kids. So it's not impossible. I know bodybuilders personally that have
Derek Lunsford. Derek Lunsford's wife came up on stage when he won, and she's like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months pregnant.
Yeah, that would be like just about starting prep. So he's like the end of push phase, beginning of prep when he did that. So he's probably on a ton of shit. And he's also men's open, so he's on a ton of shit. But like, I know bodybuilders personally, like in Charlotte, that have gotten, their wives or girlfriends pregnant while on cycle, and like harsh cycle, like even during prep, like fucking on everything, and still got them pregnant. So, I mean, it's definitely possible, but it's way more unlikely.
Imagine she goes like, hey, do you have protection? And you're like, yeah, I'm pinning. What's up?
I'm taking testosterone. That's good enough protection as it is. It's basically like wearing a condom constantly.
Gets pregnant the very first time.
Whoops. Gotta go.
Busted.
Cookie on the way to the gym. Or like, baby on the way to prep or something. I don't know.
Ridiculous. But
yeah, so that's the focus right now, is just getting fertility back up. And with everything I'm taking, my fertility is through the fucking roof. It's my sperm count's really high.
If it happens, and God willing, you're able to produce the child. Are you hopping back on another cycle and then going for another show, or are you gonna take like the year to help your wife deal with it? Or
great question.
Deal with it's the wrong word, but
no, I got you. That's a great question. So basically, the plan is, I think, so like he said, most likely 2 months off everything. Like, I mean, when all said and done, I think 2 months would probably be like Christmas time, maybe just before that. I'm not sure. So really the goal is, let's take this stuff to boost fertility like crazy, get pregnant, then push phase. And then after push phase, prep for next show. So
you'd be in prep right around the time it happens.
I ideally, what I would like is, I want to be done my show like just before we give birth is what I want to be.
The baby comes out and you're just hitting the zizz.
I'm just like diced as fuck, like flexing on the kid, like no, but
the doctor looks at you and goes, I was gonna ask if you're the father, but you're the daddy.
Yeah, you're not dad, you're daddy now. So yeah, so that's the goal. That's what I'm hoping for, is to be done my next show by the time we have a kid, which is very doable, I think. It really just comes down to how long we want to do push phase for and how long we want to do a prep for. So like if we do a 3-month push, 3-month cut or prep, then that's totally doable. You know,
Yeah.
Definitely doable. It all just depends. Because
And you've been packing on the size as is. So
yeah, I'm getting fucking up there, dude, in weight. So the push phase, I think what like is gonna be in quotations a push phase will probably be like a recomp, most likely, shed some fat, maybe put on a tad bit of muscle, get into a light bulk for a few months, and then from there get into prep is most likely what I'm expecting to see. Because we're putting on a lot of fat right now, just like genetics and being off everything. My body is just putting on a ton of fat and a ton of water right now. I'm approaching 205 pounds now. So I was on stage at 190, 183, just under 183, I think. So I put on a little over 20 pounds over a span of 3 months, roughly. So we put on a lot of weight. And I'm starting to feel chunky. I'm starting to really like stretch out all the clothes I'm wearing, especially around my belly area. It's fucking driving me nuts. My abs are basically gone at this point.
mm-hmm.
You know, I still have quad veins, still have calf veins, stuff like that. My arm veins are still kind of there. My bicep veins still there. So it's like my appendages are fine. It's just my trunk that's fucking got all my fat, you know? So that kind of sucks, but I want to be done my next show by the time we have a kid, because even by then, it's going to be financially difficult to get through the show and getting ready for a baby, you know. Obviously, you know, we have people around us and all of that. And if there's any sort of like hand-me-downs or something that like any of our friends have or whatever, that's one thing.
Guarantee you Hamill's got his baby clothes.
Yeah,
like his own. Guarantee
yeah,
he still has his own.
That sentimental. He's that sentimental. He's like, oh, to be a baby again. Goo goo gaga.
He role plays.
He like puts on the bib and it's like choking him. And it's like, oh, I missed it. But
Jesus.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, the good thing about me and my wife is that we're both on the same page when they're babies. Is we don't give a fuck what they look like. Like, I don't care if they're wearing like she wants to put them in. She works at a daycare, so she knows how to. Obviously, not like an ugly kid. I don't want an ugly kid. I hate that shit, dude. I hate ugly babies. It drives me nuts. So the parents are always like, "They're so cute." I'm like, dude, you have an alien for a kid. Like, that's disgusting. Like,
that is a potato with hair.
Like, they're like, "Oh, it's so cute." I'm like, dude, like the dad. I'm like, dude, you gotta be. Come on, dude. You gotta be like, dude, this is an ugly ass baby. Like,
you gotta be disappointed in your sperm.
You gotta be like, dude, what the fuck happened? Like, of all the sperm to make it, you made it. Like, really? No, but I'm saying looks wise. I'm saying like what they're wearing. Stuff like that. She works at a daycare, so you know she knows how to take care of kids and all that, and she just knows that she wants to put them in, you know, like these like basically like onesies constantly, essentially, because at the end of the day, they look good, they're cheap, and they're comfortable and warm. They kind of hit all the marks. It's just at the end of the day, what we care about is saving money, because it's not like the baby's going to remember what clothing they were wearing or what stroller they're being pushed in. You know,
yeah.
All that matters is we can get through. You know, we raise them as comfortably as possible. So for me, especially in the beginning, like I really don't need like all this aesthetic shit or like an aesthetic baby room or some shit like that. Like if we could just raise our kid.
That kid better be wearing stringers and 5-inch inseams.
1-inch inseams because of the legs. What kind of legs are those? Fucking you're gonna hit some leg press.
Start berating your baby. What the fuck kind of biceps are that, baby?
5 more. And I'm like changing them. I'm like, you're going to failure.
Well, your wife comes in, Paul, you've gone through all the diapers and they're all clean. 5 more. 5 more.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep practicing. I gotta go to failure. You're like drenched in sweat, and you're like, okay, that was mechanical failure. I'm done. But yeah, no, we'll see. I mean, my thing too, like, which you'll be invited to, is I want to throw a diaper party. I think it'd be sick. Nobody does them anymore, but all the boys
in diapers, man.
Yeah, we all wear adult diapers. We all show up. We all got stogies and whiskey.
We could make that into a bodybuilding show.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Everybody just shows up with as much diapers as they can afford, and we'll stuff them in the walls like in SpongeBob and shit, and we'll be good to go for a while. That's the goal, you know?
Hell yeah.
You know, baby shower, all that. Like, whatever we can get from people will be great. And then we'll try to use that as much as we can for our next kid, you know, if or when we ever have a second one. So, I mean, I would like at least 2, but we'll see what happens with the future. But yeah, so that's the plan right now. It's just fertility, getting pregnant. I want to hit my next show. Probably going to need to take some time off to get the kid ready to go. Cause like so with my wife working at a daycare, she gets maternity leave, not really paid, but she gets it and it's fine. You know, she doesn't lose her job or anything. And then what's great is that at 6 weeks old, she can put our kid in the daycare for free.
Oh, that's perfect.
So, yeah, exactly. So
that's an expense. That's a big motherfucking expense.
So the daycare she works at, she arguably helps run. She's the assistant director. The director is the daughter of the owner, so she arguably helps run it. So the daycare there is like, some of the ages are like the prices is between like $1,600 and like $2,000 a month is like the cost. So
absurd.
Great perk to be able to have that available to us. What's good is that theoretically, if we get to that point, she could like open the daycare at like 6:30, be done at 4, leave our kid there while I'm hitting the gym. She'd come home, take a nap, relax for a couple hours. I'll pick up our child after the gym at like 6:30 and then come home, you know? So like that could be like the routine, you know, which would be perfect. You know, she gets some time off from the kid. I'm working from home. So, you know, I don't have to worry about watching our kid at home or anything like that. And then she gets some time off after coming home from work to relax. I come home with the kid. We're all fresh, rejuvenated, good to go, you know? So it's kind of like the perfect time to have one right now.
Your wife is like, Paul, we're saving $1,600 on not having to pay for daycare. What are we going to invest it in? Tren.
Just vials upon vials of Tren. So much fucking Tren.
You become your own trend dealer and you just start distributing
yourself. Yeah. I just pay myself my own money. Thanks, bro. I'm just like, bet.
The Arnold meme where it's him clasping hands with the guy who plays Apollo from Rocky.
Yeah. Just flexing hard as shit. All sweaty and oiled up. But yeah, no. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited to become a dad one day. Hopefully soon. Hopefully this time next year is the goal, you know. Obviously, like what sucks is that my wife, she's very hot generally. She's the opposite of most women, where most women are cold all the time. She's hot all the time. She's very easily overheats. So she didn't want to be pregnant, like 3rd trimester pregnant during summer.
Yeah.
Because that would be brutal. Especially down here, you know, it gets hot. It gets really hot in North Carolina. Not quite the humidity of down south or even up north. You guys have a lot more humidity up north, but the heat gets really high. It gets close to 100 most of the summer. So it would be brutal for her to be 3rd trimester pregnant. But at this rate, it's like we're starting to try. Like I wanted to, like in a way, I almost want to wait till like February, March to start trying. But at the same time, she's like, she did make a good point, which is the reason we started early, was like, who knows how long it's going to take us to get pregnant. Yeah. She's like, if we get pregnant right away, she'll deal with being pregnant in the summer. But at least that way we know we're good to go. Where like if we tried like at the ideal time and we weren't able to get pregnant, then we would see that window closing. And all of a sudden, we know we're starting to get pregnant. We're starting to look at like giving birth in the summer anyways. So she's like, let's not wait. Let's just do it now and start trying. And if it takes a while, it takes a while.
And especially like your whole PCT going for the fertility plus package, like that like if that doesn't produce the ability to have a child, then it means that you have like Paul will have to go like to a fertility expert and like get like more medical attention just to be able to produce that. Because like if you can't do it in the PCT, then on cycle, it's going to be even harder. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it will be harder. So it's like, this is the perfect time. Like you and your coach identify, was like, all right, we're doing this. If this doesn't work, fuck.
Yeah. So That's the other thing too, was that I did tell, like, obviously I would want to wait until February, March. Theoretically, like, let's say I said that. We also would be talking about like peak, like middle of my prep push phase, like basically regardless. So with being in PCT right now, I'm like, there's no better time than now to do it. You know, it's like, even regardless of when we wanted to, I was like, it's still a better time now for me and for her. You know, it's just the best time to do it right now. And theoretically, if we don't get pregnant during my PCT, theoretically, we could get checked out, the both of us, and see like, hey, you know, was there an issue? Is there an issue? Was it just the fact that we just didn't? Like, was it just a luck of the draw? Something like that. After my raloxifene, which would be like end of next week, roughly, mostly right after that, I'll be getting blood work done. So with that being said, the blood work will show me FSH and LH levels, and that gives you a rough idea of where your sperm count is at. It's not an exact, it's kind of like, it's there's a correlation, but it's not causation, you know? So it's not like, just because your FSH and LH levels are high or low doesn't necessarily mean your sperm count is high or low, but typically they're kind of connected. So
it comes back as one.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how it is. Like, it's like your FSH and LH levels are typically the one that I get, the blood levels you get, the blood tests you get. Here's the thing with blood tests. Let me just kind of preface this. You can spend as much money on a blood test as you want. You can spend thousands of dollars on blood tests. The differences between the prices is the accuracy and what you get. So what I get for just under $200 with Merrick Health Clinic, which is run by, I think it's like financed by Derek, More Plates, More Dates. Mm-hmm. So that one, it's like just under $200. You get like a full panel, you know, lipids, hormones, you know, which includes like free testosterone, total testosterone, estrogen, triglycerides, stuff like that. Gets all of that. The only difference is that sometimes with like testosterone, some tests will be like, oh, if you're over 2,500 nanograms total, we just stop counting. Like, you're over this somewhere, you know, mm-hmm. somewhere over this. That's all we know. Same with like FSH and LH. So when I got tested for my last blood test, my FSH and LH levels were less than like 0.3 nanograms or whatever it is. So they wouldn't measure any lower than that. But basically what that means is that my FSH and LH levels were literally basically in the toilet. Like, according to my FSH and LH, I had like no sperm count during peak bulk. When I got tested, I think it was peak bulk. Yeah, I don't think it was during prep. I think it was peak bulk when I got tested, just to make sure everything was fine, everything was okay. And that was expected. Something like that is expected when you're on, you know, gear. So when we get tested again at the end of next week, I'm expecting my FSH and LH levels to be relatively normal, maybe a little higher than usual. And if that shows, then that should theoretically mean that my sperm count is either like in a normal range or higher than usual. And that's what I'm hoping for at the end of the day. Next week, yeah. When we get the blood test done. So as far as any issues from there, you know, it's not like it could be me or it could be her. It could be either of us. We don't know. We can just both get checked and see what happens. But ideally, we just hope that we're pregnant soon, you know, because we're trying. And that's the other bullshit thing too, is that what's like with a lot of cases is that what's unfortunate, it's not as common now, but like back in the day, teen pregnancy was a problem. And what's so fucked up was that, especially back in the day, teen pregnancy was so abundant. You know, they obviously had the reality TV shows about it, 16 and pregnant and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, there wasn't the tools out there that there is today for like parents or future parents who are trying for a baby to have more help. You know, so it's like the people who are trying were having less kids, but then the people who weren't trying were having more kids.
Yeah.
So it's just a weird backwards situation where it's like we see a lot of time people who shouldn't be having kids, who don't want kids right now, end up getting pregnant way easier than those that are trying. And I wonder at the same time if that's like a mental thing, if there's some sort of like mental aspect to it where because you're so stressed out or anxious about trying that it ends up affecting it or something.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. There's emotional side of this.
Oh, I know that. I know there's emotional side to it too. I just don't know like how it affects it in a negative way. because like my wife, she's getting to the point where she's kind of getting anxious about it because like, so she was having, and she's still kind of having like almost like in a way kind of morning sickness ish symptoms. Not quite. It's like she's nauseous at night, doesn't want to eat during the day. So it's like this weird thing that she's going through. And, we got a test done just to see if there's something, is negative. Granted, it would have been way too soon, but it's like now that we tested, she's like worried she's never going to get pregnant, So it's like there's this whole emotional, mental thing, especially on the women's side of things that like affects them. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long. Obviously, I want to be able to have a little one, but we're still arguing about names. That's still our problem.
Have you ever watched Shameless?
I know about it. I haven't watched it. I just know it's super dark, so I've never tried it.
I mean, there's comedic sides to it. Like this couple is trying to get pregnant, and she can't get pregnant, and they can't afford a surrogate, so he just starts banging her mom, and then out of like to be a surrogate without paying for the surrogate. And everyone is on board with it, but what ends up happening is both the mom and his wife get pregnant at the same time.
What the fuck? That's so dumb.
So there are options out there, brother. Don't worry.
No, we would never do some shit like that. We would, if we couldn't get pregnant at all, we would just adopt is really what would end up happening.
Yeah.
What sucks is I've always been like, for family, I'm always been one that I want to have my kids. I want to have our kids. Mm-hmm. She was in the space when I met her that she wanted to have a couple of our own kids and then adopt one. And I super commend her for that. But I kind of set the expectation at the beginning. I'm like, look, I really commend you for that. And if that's a deal breaker for us, I understand. Like, this is when we were dating. I'm like, but for me, I don't want to adopt because I want to have my own biological kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to be able to pass on my name to, I know it's stupid, but my bloodline. And I'm a big person who says that your bloodline doesn't mean shit.
I'm actually old school with that.
See, bloodline to me doesn't mean shit if you're not going to treat me properly. Like, true. I'm very close to my family that treats me properly, but just because you're blood related to me doesn't mean you have to be in my life. That's what I'm trying to say. So I want to be able to pass on my name through my bloodline, and because really at the end of the day, it's up to me, my younger brother, to pass on my last name. And at the same time, the further we get in human society, the less blonde hair, blue eyed kids there are out there. And I know that sounds dumb, but like literally it's expected we're going to go extinct like in our lifetime, where it's going to become so recessive that blonde hair, blue eyes is never going to happen. So if I have the chance to be able to pass that on, that's what I'm hoping to be able to do.
Yeah.
Just like, it's just to have more diversity, it's great to have diversity. And if like, I think that if red hair is going to die out at some point, I think
we'd let it.
I would no. Yeah, that was quick. That was good. That was witty. I think
I'm calling listener.
Yeah, we got to tell him that now. I think if red hair is going to die out, I think that those people who have naturally genetic red hair should try their best to have, obviously, like if you're a couple kids in and you don't want any more, then stop. But like, I think that you should be able to try to have, if you can, have the ability to, finances, in a privileged place to be able to afford the luxury of having a kid and have them have red hair. That's what my goal would be if I was in their shoes. So that's kind of where I'm at. Is like, I want to be able to have a kid with blonde hair, blue eyes, if I can. And whether or not we have a boy or girl, I'm okay with. I want one of each. But at the end of the day, I'm just excited to be a father either way, whether I have a boy or a girl. And I'll be happy either way. I can't stand it when people are sad about having what they don't want to have. I think that's ludicrous. I think that's fucking shameful to me. And I know people who have done that. They've gotten really upset that they're not having what they want to have. And I'm like, do you even hear yourself? Like, you're upset that your kid's going to be who they are.
Yeah.
Like, that makes me so fucking sad. Yeah. Like, imagine that. Imagine finding out like, oh, mommy and daddy didn't want you. We wanted something else. Like, that sucks, So I'm going to be happy with whatever we have. And I want a boy and I want a girl in different, for different reasons. Like I want a daddy's girl. Like I want a girl
I
that.
thought you were about to say in different children. Like
What?
instead of you get a boy and a girl in the same child. Like
Yeah, I want a tranny.
Yeah.
I'm going to raise a tranny. I want a hermaphrodite. I want both.
Yeah,
I want them to get themselves pregnant.
All right, that's it, guys. We're going
We'll
on.
call it a day. Yeah, no. So, anyways, thanks for listening to my PCT chat. Yeah, so we'll hopefully we'll have a kid soon. And it's fucking okay. Here's the other thing, real quick. Who fucking came up with the whole thing that you have to have a kid on ovulation window? Like, it's fucking whack.
Yeah, I got nothing, man. I don't care. I don't really look into that.
So this is new to me. Let's drop this thing. This is new to me, right? So I thought going into it, obviously, like when you're ovulating, then which is like a certain amount of time after your period. When you're ovulating, you have a better chance of getting pregnant. But it's at the point now where like studies have been done and supposedly it's like virtually impossible to have a kid when you're not ovulating. I'm like, fucking why? Like, why is that a thing? Why can't, like, what the, female reproductive organs make fucking, there's so much going on. Like, there is so much going on with that shit. Female hormones are so complex. It is a fucking miracle we have female contraceptives in the first place. Because how the hell we're able to shut any shit down is beyond me. But the fact that like the female body is just like, if it's not this like literal almost 2-day window, I'm good. I don't want anything. It's like fucking what? And then these like 16-year-olds and 15, 14-year-olds at this point are fucking having kids out of nowhere. I'm like, dude, I have to time it like down to the day. And then that makes sex a chore, which is fucking annoying. So like I thought that trying for a baby was going to be awesome.
Here I go again on my own.
It fucking, yeah, it's like, dude, it's like, yeah, it's rough. It's a good song for it. But yeah, no, it's just, it's like you have to time it and it ends up becoming a fucking chore. And it's like, you have to like, it's just it's different.
Yeah, I get that.
Which sucks. But at the same time, it's just like, I mean, obviously I'm willing to do it for our kid, but PCT, all this shit's for our kid. I wouldn't be running this if we weren't trying for a kid. This PCT would be happening, which is also a good thing too. So like when we were looking at PCT, one of my homies who's borderline an endocrinologist, he knows so much about hormones and all of that. And he's like, PCT doesn't really make any sense right now, especially since you're going to be competing every year now and competing probably a couple times a year. He's like, I don't see why you would run a PCT and completely come off everything. And it makes me feel better knowing now that it was just for fertility. And other than that, we basically just run a cruise. We would taper down, run a cruise, clean out the system with some health, like a health rest phase, like I'm doing right now with 2-on-1 off, which I'm also doing 2-on-1 off. It's chest, thigh, back try, rest, legs, and then a delt with the chest movement and a back movement just for a touch up and then a rest. So it's 2-on-1 off, 2-on-1 off. So now I know we're going to do a cruise for that going into the future. So we're not going to come off completely off of everything. Ideally, we don't want to do. It's really harsh on the body to do a PCT. It's arguably harsher to do a PCT than it is to do steroids. It's like, how do I explain it? It's like, it's like withdrawals. It's kind of like withdrawals. Like you can die from withdrawals, if you're addicted to something, you can die from withdrawals. And arguably, sometimes withdrawals are more dangerous than taking something, which obviously you should go through. You need to go through withdrawals, but like there are things to help you survive withdrawals and all that. But like that's kind of what PCT is. Like it's harsher on the body to come off everything and go through PCT than it is to like stay on theoretically. So like that's why you do like the blast and cruise.
It's harsher, but it's better long term.
Yeah, in the long term, of course, like you have to do PCT to fully come off everything in the long term. But in the short term, since we're going to be competing pretty frequently in the future, it's just going to be a cruise. And if we go to try for another baby, because like for me, I want our kids close together, not like back to back, but like, have one kid, maybe like a year later or something, start getting ready for the next one or something like that. So whenever we go for another kid, we'll do a PCT or something similar to what we are now. It's probably going to be my next PCT. So it's probably just going to be blast cruise until then, after this PCT. But we'll see what happens. So long story short, the gist of it is I'm about halfway done my PCT roughly. Getting blood work done probably the end of November. I'll be up beginning of December in Massachusetts. So I'll see all you guys. And then blast push phase, maybe like end of December-ish. And then we'll see from there.
And when you're back in the area, we're now going to the home gym.
Yeah, it's annoying. I like every time I go up, I'm like, I want to go to Van Arky so bad, but I have to plan around it because of when they're open and when Van's going to be there and shit.
I got my scanner.
Yeah, so here is my thing I was going to propose to you is that we'll talk about it more, but like when I go to co-op, maybe like I could have you pay him or something, and because he knows obviously who I am, so like he wouldn't care if I go with you and he's not there. You know,
you don't have to bring him. He doesn't have to be there for guests anymore.
Right. But like, I've already signed plenty of waivers. I was a member there for a few years. So if I just had you pay him, or if I just paid him once, I'm sure he'd be fine with me going whenever. And I'll just go with you whenever we can go. So we'll do that, but I won't be strong or anything like that. I am able to bench 245 for 8 right now, which I'm pretty happy about. I'm still pretty happy I could push that. Deadlifting 3 plates and a quarter for like 8 or 9 reps right now. It's with solid reps. So pretty happy about all that.
I haven't done a bench max in a while, or I really don't do a lot of strength low volume, high strength on bench, but I do that I do rack pulls instead of deadlifts just because I'm super isolating the back and just taking legs out of it. And I hit 4 plates for the first time since my injuries. Nice. And because I know I mentioned it way at the beginning of the summer before my legs went to shit.
Yeah.
That I was doing 4 plates, and I finally got back to it. So
yeah, I was doing 4 plates pretty regularly before starting PCT on rack pulls. I was actually like slowly increasing the weight. So what I would do is like I put like a 2.5 or like a 5-pound plate on the inside of the bar, and then just put my normal weight on top. So like I would start with 1 plate, then 2 plates, and 3 plates, and 4 plates, but I would increase whatever is on the inside the bar. So that way I don't have to keep changing it out, pull it off, put the plate on, put it back, stuff like that. So I got up to like 15 pounds added to each side, and then 4 plates on top of that is essentially what I got up to. And then the reps started becoming shit because I was losing my strength. So I started going down a little bit. And then I was like, you know what? Since we're doing 2-on-1 off, I'm just going to like do the movements I enjoy doing. Because like the gym right now is kind of a chore. I don't have the energy anymore that I used to have. It's not as motivating to get to the gym. I'm not really making any progress. I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of putting on fat. So like kind of feels like it's worthless, even though it's not. So I'm doing stuff that I enjoy doing. So I can look forward to that. So like I'm doing bench press again. So I'm doing 245 for 8. I could probably do more if I had a spotter. I just don't feel comfortable doing more on my own.
I get that.
And it is a lot on my shoulders. So I don't want to do too much there. I'm still doing like just over 3 plates on the incline bench machine, which is awesome. The hammer strength one. And then deadlifting, I'm deadlifting again because I did rack pulls for so long that I was like, I'm going to do deadlifts from the floor. And I'm doing like 3 plates and a quarter for like a solid like 8 or 9.
Hell yeah.
And I could probably do more. I just like want to make sure I'm focusing my back like the entire rep. Even though I'm pulling it from the floor, I'm still focusing my back. If I focused everything, I could probably get like maybe like 4 1/4 for like 1.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Sumo, bro.
Dude, sumo. If you just fucking pull sumo, dude. You do all
I did 8 plates and I lifted the bar an inch, so I'm kind of the strongest one in the gym.
There's this one guy who talked about how he did he was like the fastest progressor in powerlifting, whatever, and he did like a sumo lift of like over 1,000 pounds, which like, don't get me wrong, I could never sumo deadlift over 1,000 pounds. Like that's not something I could do.
Yeah.
Even if I tried sumo, there's no way I could do it. But he was like comparing himself to Eddie Hall, and so he was like, do it conventional, then you could fucking talk. Like if he was like over 1,000, he's doing conventional at his body weight of like maybe like 220, 230. Like that's fucking crazy. But he's doing sumo at that much, and the reps super fast, and it's only like really a couple inches off the ground. So it's like, all right. And it's all legs too. Sumo deadlifts is all legs. Like none of it's back. So it's like, all right, do conventional and then we'll talk. I'm glad that we're going in the direction where we're shaming sumo deadlifting. We're shaming arching in your back on the bench. We're going back to proper training.
Oh,
Joey
yeah.
Swole is a big role in that.
For all you ladies taking videos in the gym, just stop.
Fucking cut it out. Leave. I want a men's only gym.
Yeah.
There's women's only gym. Why not men's only gym? We just train in Speedos all day. We smack each other's asses.
But that would actually be incredible.
We could just train in like posing trunks.
Yeah, literally, that would be incredible.
You see that clip of Steve getting upset that C-Bum and Ramon patted each other's ass?
Each other's butt. I didn't see the video.
So dumb. Oh my gosh.
They do it every year, though.
Yeah, it's their thing. And Steve literally goes, "Stop touching." Like, he got upset about it. And he said it in the mic.
Oh, he said it in the mic.
Yeah, so like everybody heard it. It was on the speakers and everything. And he goes, "Stop touching."
Oh,
I'm
damn.
like, what the fuck, dude? It's a show. It's literally a bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
They're making it entertaining. It's for entertainment in a sense.
And that's, I mean, it's their thing, but it was Dino's thing. Like, Dino does that to every person he stands next to.
Yeah, and Jay did it to like Ronnie. They did it back and forth. Like, it's been something that's been done for a while. It's just stupid that he's like upset about it. Somebody's like, Steve's just jealous that he can't touch C-Bum's ass. I would be jealous too. I'd be like, damn it, I want to fucking get a little pinch of that butt.
Looking like a cut of flank steak.
Yeah, I just pinch it, my thumb breaks. Like, fuck. You go to pinch, he just like grabs it. He's like clenches. You're coming with me.
When you try and touch C-Bum's ass, it touches you.
Yeah, it grabs you right back. His striations are so deep. It just grabs you back.
All right, y'all.
Alrighty. Thanks for listening, guys.
We will be seeing you next week.
See you guys.
Peace.